Ladies and gentlemen, I'm honored to speak from the stage today. FinTech, in general, it is at the far front of the financial industry, which in its turn drives business and economic progress for the whole humanity. And the FinTech Moldova Conference embodies the great entrepreneurial spirit of the Moldovan people, together with our ability to react the challenges and new approaches. And here in Moldova, we are not only participants in the moves. We facilitate new approaches. We actively take part in the implementation. In our actions, we contribute to reshape the future world. So, what is the leading trend of today? Speakers have discussed artificial intelligence, and indeed, AI became a crucial part and is becoming a crucial part of today's life, of present and future. On the other hand, the world of the future, which is becoming absolutely digital, is a world of connectivity and interaction. I'm referring to ability to manage the different digital aspects of life, including business, medical, public services, and even government. This interconnection is achieved by a certain means, the means of API channels. In the other words, it can be encapsulated in a certain phrase. In the era of AI, everything is API. This phrase, unfortunately, does not belong to me. Just unfortunately, because it's great. Let's imagine a simple example. A modern utility bill or a bank statement, which is highly itemized. It includes charges, surcharges, fees, different tariffs. Today, the ordinary person cannot say that he can understand the bill or statement. It needs a lot of efforts. It's too complex. And I know that in the future, the embedded AI could help consumers to understand such documents, bill or statements. But being aware of their costs, users would make informed decisions of what to do, to choose between financial institutions, to choose between utility providers. This choice would become possible just in one click, and not only a choice which changes a life in the form of a provider, but also it will be a one-click payment. And this partnership of AI and API technology enables a complex ecosystem of service providers, consultancy, financial institutions, advisory companies. It completely changes all the decision-making process. These innovations may seem esoteric to a part of the public, but in my opinion, it will be accepted faster than we think. A different example, in financial sector, advanced APIs can connect risk assessment artificial intelligence to a real-time data. What is it about? It would give a real benefit to both business and financial institutions. Everybody knows that today the burden of regulatory compliance, including like AML, KYC due diligence, is pretty costly. Not pretty, it's unbelievably costly. For certain banks, the AML and related issues constitute about a quarter of their expenses. And the use of AI plus API channels can significantly reduce the costs, as well as to reinstate the speed of the fast decision making. So the data exchange through APIs and AI trusted analysis can significantly reduce, again, costs and empower empower the business to act as fast as it was before the complexity of compliance. So, what can I add? To achieve this result, to achieve the full benefit of open data, we need cooperation between government, financial industry, fintechs, startups. It should be a way to foster an environment which is innovation-friendly and at the same time which has a robust regulatory framework structure which protects consumers and businesses. So we are standing at the threshold of this new era. It's clear that the synergy between AI and API and the synergy between different game players will found a new digital future. In Moldova, we have the opportunity to be at the forefront of this move. The country has always been known for adaptability and innovative spirit, and for entrepreneurial spirit, as I've already mentioned. We must channel these qualities into becoming leaders of the financial space. By embracing AI and API technologies, we can create a financial ecosystem that is not only efficient and secure, but also inclusive and forward-thinking. As the CEO of FinTech and RegTech company Soltage, I call upon all of you, entrepreneurs, developers, policymakers, financial experts, to join hands in this endeavor. We have worked together to build a great FinTech landscape. And the future of finance is here. It's powered by AI and APIs. Moldova has the talent, vision, and the determination to act fast and efficient, and to be an important player in this transformation. So let's seize this opportunity, shape the future of finance, and not in geographical sense, not here in Moldova, but globally, and in terms of timing, for their service and benefit of generations. Thank you.
Thank you, and now please welcome Alina Beleuta.
Thank you, Garri. Hi, everyone. Help me to relax a bit because technology works against me usually. So, how do I give it back? Yeah. All right, I'm Alina, Chief Growth Officer at Soltage. Every year we come to this conference and try to show you something new. The last 2 years we spoke mostly about how important is open banking, how you can build use cases out of it, how you can build business out of it. And I was thinking, how should I impress you or entertain you, at least in the second half of the conference this year? So I decided to speak about what I know best, which is partnerships and how this enhances growth, and how actually in our time now, this is one of the most resourceful channels for growth overall for any business. But before that, I want to remind you just a bit who is Soltage, what we do, what we've been up to this year since we didn't saw each other. And remind you that we are from Moldova, from Canada, from UK, but the core people work here. All of my colleagues are here, and we develop innovation globally from Moldova. We are a globally recognized company, one of the biggest players globally. We have a few licenses, we have a few countries, to say 45 plus countries that we aggregate, and we offer the data to more than 2,050 clients. At the same time, talking about the use cases in open banking, I think in the last 10 years we developed more than 450 use cases working with TPPs globally. And if you have any questions on how to develop a business model starting from open banking and open data, come talk to us. Right? These are the people we work with usually, from tier 1 banks to all kinds of verticals in fintech, but not only, covering lending, insurance, all types of new ideas of fintechs. Every year we collect some crazy ideas that can really be implemented with open banking. And what we started to do like 3 years ago, we decided to develop a new channel for sales and growth, which is through partners. And we started integrating for the sake of solving faster the pains of our customers, which at that point were compliance. We started to integrate with the big guys of core banking systems like Finastra, Temenos. Somebody here has a T24 core banking for sure. And at the other side, on the consuming part of the business, where you need a ready solution for credit scoring or for categorization where you need a PFM, we decided to go together technically with partners in the market and integrate end-to-end solution that we can together bring as a route to market. And imagine, because I took the recommendation of the colleague that spoke earlier to start with the joke, this is my attempt to joke with AI. And I asked, dear kind sir, because I treat AI very well in the perspective of them ruling the world at some day, I asked, imagine a world where there's no collaboration between banks and other institutions that don't come from the non-financial, that don't come from financial background. And after 20 inputs, we kind of got to this. It sounds like some mafia, isolated giant stuff, right? But to be honest, this is what happens not only in Moldova, but around the globe when it comes to people who own technology, who work secretly on their own, and they are still in the idea that I will get a competitive edge if I'm doing it on my own, if I'm building in silo, if I am investing and somebody else there is investing in a PFM, but mine will be the best. If I'm building an ERP, although there are 1,000 ERPs adapted to any niche in the market that you want to find, and at the same time, when it comes to the compliance issues, and we spoke so much about cybersecurity, compliance to regulation around payments, e-money institutions, and banks itself, it requires a lot of time and resources to manage the risks, although there is RegTech, people like us and other guys, very cool, that have this solution and can increase a lot of capabilities in this field specifically. And then imagine my experience as a user. I need to have 1,000 apps to satisfy one need. I want just to press a click. I'm lazy. I don't want to share money with everyone. And this is what's happening right now. When everyone is doing something highly technological, but there's no partnership between us. On the other side, we have people like Australians, we have Brazil people, we have UAE guys who started to invest early on in adopting the concept of open data economies or open economies. And they have specific regulations where they empower consumers. Majority of them started from banking because who knows better than bankers where are the money and the secrets. But then moved out in the open finance space to insurance, pension funds, lending, all types of payments and so on. And went a bit more further with the sectors like energy, telecom, for example, in Australia. The scope of this all being that in one click, I can enroll my child to school, sharing data from my bank account, sharing the data of my health insurance, sharing the data of my school, and so on. So the scope, all of this it's around the consumer, but all this is driven through partnerships because it's allowing or it builds it's kind of like a therapy for the couples in the industry, making the rules, giving them example of how to interact, and leaving them be to build business models. What this builds, it's exactly that. An experience in one click for the consumer, less work that we do separately, a faster way to combine resources and knowledge that we have from different perspectives. So imagine a bank, and imagine any application that is present and has millions of users. The bank, even though we develop some super technology advanced people inside as the IT team, will never be able to achieve the target audience that some application has. And they could use instead that as a new channel of distribution. I'm gonna breathe a bit, sorry. Right, if we go back to the financial institutions, because that's where all the challenge starts and a lot of adversity happens. This is the path that institutions around the globe took from developing their existing isolated banking services. They were empowered by the regulation, not empowered, more challenged by the regulation, but empowered by the market demand to open up the mandatory open banking APIs. And that would be account information payment initiation. But then they seized the opportunity, understood that, hey, I have already this platform, I have the onboarding, I have a lot of elements. I already know that it's possible to automate the way I'm doing partnerships. And that's the main lesson that open banking actually teaches us. That there are efficient ways to automate the way we interact and business-wise, legal-wise, with the third parties. You have a framework that is built around how you share data, how you transfer money, and so on. And based on that, those banks built tools like e-commerce APIs, KYC, where, for example, in my process of lending, I'm using someone else's KYC, or somebody who doesn't have a credit line with me, but is a client of another bank. I can verify through KYC their identity in that bank, and I can cut the costs that I have to implement in my KYC initially before transferring them into or giving them the opportunity to become a client of mine. Of course, this is tricky from the part of, hey, I don't want to share clients with anyone. But come on, we are in a competitive landscape. The industry moves so fast that you will lose if you don't move around with the industry itself. And what some very clever people did, and mostly who we interacted were from the Middle East or from deep Europe, is banking as a service, where besides having the technology of the API exposing the functionality in a core or in all the systems that a bank has to deliver a service, they also share the license. So me as a car seller, I can have a completely online application with the credit scoring from the bank, with the issuing an account for the credit line from another bank, and repayment of that loan sponsored from, I don't know, some wallet and so ever. So the way that the banks looked at it, it went quite further, and you have examples that I'm gonna share with you from a little bit later and how this works. The actual power of partnerships and the true growth, it's found in the network effect. And network effect is that where, even though the bank sits in the different parts of the ecosystem, it can benefit from collaborations between super different stakeholders. So a credit card issuer, a e-commerce guy, a local government, insurance, wealth, and all that is possible through vendors like us. For example, recently Soltage launched the Open Finance Marketplace, where everyone can come around, publish their API, and build a new product instantly without code, additional code, and make that route to market seamless. Having like accounts from one bank, lending from another bank, all kind of categorization, KYC, and so on. And in this type of ecosystem, the bank role can be different. So for example, you take a moment in someone's life. For example, education or buying a house, and you build all the partnerships around that. And you deliver all the services around that on your platform, as a bank, you don't deliver only the financial products, but you deliver something else. You can be a marketplace orchestrator, where you go further and you don't encapsulate only a tiny part of a person's life, but you move and you cover all aspects of human life, and you deliver services all around that. And in another way, a bank can be a third party or a sponsor with a license or with the types of product that they serve in somebody else's ecosystem. For example, in Soltage Marketplace or in any other marketplace available on the market. All of this actually starts, as I showed you, with the open banking. And in Moldova, we have the mandate from a national bank to provide the APIs. And great news, guys, we got you covered. 6 from 10 banks in Moldova, who you see here, and we want to say thank you, and we want to say congrats that you're being so visionary about it, that we have the public commitment of making this institution compliant in time. All right, and believe me, the journey will be interesting because we've seen it all. We've seen how people fail and how they succeed in adopting open banking. Now, that's a tricky moment with payment initiation in open banking in Moldova, and let's talk about it. When you come and build a payment scheme that is so fine, like Mia, you leave kind of no place for payment initiation. And let's say that from my perspective, the only value added that payment initiation through open banking will bring to business payments and to retail payments will be maybe an improvement of some parts of the user experience, but very limited. While, okay, we can do more. We can do more and take the example of UK or Saudi or UAE and either put in the regulation additional payment types like variable recurring payments, future dated payments, combined types of payments, and you see a list of use cases we can build from that, or allow the financial institution to monetize those directly to the third parties. And now let's start with a few examples. I went like global, local, and so on. But I'm going to share with you my favorite one, which is DBS Singapore. They have an entire marketplace of being a human. So you are a human, you go to a bank, you have everything you need. You want to buy a car? We give you a car. You want to be healthy? We give you insurance, we give you training, we give you whatever. And they find, on their marketplace, you can find everything, not just mortgages and the typical services that you have, but even a coffee machine. So this approach, it's taken mostly from the super apps and guys like that. Maybe it's inspired also by, if you remember, and I'm sure you remember Tinkoff and the beautiful business that they built in terms of interaction with life moments and building a business examples on that. And DBS has also an offer for B2B, where me, for example, as a real estate agency, I can embed their API for home planner, and I can expose in my own application where I'm selling houses, doing that by initiating an account with this bank, or all the services that the bank provides in this field. And I'm going to give you an example from Moldova, which I, with much curiosity, discovered when I was looking for an apartment. And I want to congratulate Maib here for this initiative, which is an aggregator of real estate listing, where the bank aggregated a lot of partners in that field, and they also present their own product for mortgages. From a nice look that I had on this, I mean, we can add a lot of stuff that could increase the revenue potentially for the platform itself, but this is a real example of how the bank can take a life moment and act as a use case orchestrator and bring everyone to the club, make money out of it, right? Right? And since in Moldova we have two types of businesses that are really successful, we have real estate and death. So this is an example of death management and embedded finance in this case. This is not a funny place to joke, but when something like that happens, you don't want to think about it, and this is an exact example of user experience. You give all that to somebody to take care, and there's Barclays somewhere there, allowing the user of these services to close an account, to transfer an account, to open an account for the assets that they're identifying, to sell property, blah, blah, blah. And all that in quiet. And then at the end, I decided to ask, okay, but everything goes okay. What will happen? And the future is bright, and I'm not gonna say it's, you know, it's very clear that it's a certain color. What I want to encourage you to see all the people from our team here, ask as many questions you want, or just say hello. We are quite friendly. And at the end, I just want to leave you with a thought. I'm Moldovan, salut. And all of my life, and you guys who were from Moldova, by some institution and people, we are taught to think small and stay put. And if you're big and loud and large, then you're somehow foolish. And to be honest, for me personally, I think the innovation sits in exactly having the capability to think otherwise and to be creative enough to overcome the barriers and to work with the resources that you have. And that's the real innovation. And for us properly in Saltage, and for me personally, one way to do it faster, one way to reach a market or to reach goals that you can't achieve by yourself, like with the limited resources that everyone says that we have, is partnerships. So I encourage you to partner with us and to partner wherever you find good for that. Thank you.